Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate and all the Uncut goodness and after show goodness as well. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below this video. Now I'm about to go and join Arwin's show over on the early birds. I'll transition across to that, and hopefully we'll join without any issues. We shall see.
To think, hey, whoa, Nathan.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Hey,
Howdy, Nate.
we were just talking about you behind your back. No, discussing just the trolls in and I was about to explain that why they get so nasty is because with Flat Earth we are taking away their dream, because the globe is like a giant dream, very similar in nature to the effect of being in love. And that is just a fact. That I think that's even chemically provable, that there's a correlation between like fantasizing about outer space and science fiction, the feelings many people have from that, and of being in love. Literally. Trust me on this, I'll turn out to be right in this.
Yeah, you're taking away the religious belief.
Right. Well, I guess that people that really love God in church also experience similar feelings. And in a way, I guess that, yeah, like Globers, I myself including, really wanted to defend it. Like Christians would defend Jesus. He's slandered. It's the same kind of impulse, the same kind of system. Yeah. It really is a religion, but it's rooted in the chemical feeling, you could say, of being in love. That's what it's rooted in my psychological layman's opinion.
Who's the other dude on the panel?
Oh, that's Troy. He's Unsalted 667.
Hey, Troy. How you doing?
Mate? Good, mate. How you doing?
What's that? I know the name, and you've got a really weird thumbnail. What is that thumbnail?
It's a dude drinking a beer on a deck chair on a surfboard.
But that's new, right? You had a
surfing-
different thumbnail that
surfing on
looked
the
more
deck
like
chair.
a gas mask or something.
Yeah. No, the one that I use usually is a character called Grendel. It's an old comic book character, Dark Horse comic book character from the 80s.
Fair enough.
Travis.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Hey, Travis.
It's okay. Are you on the road again?
Yeah, but I'm just driving a car. I'm not driving a truck.
All right.
Maybe I should use the same one here. There's
Cool.
my
Good to
computer.
have you.
Thanks.
So, what were we talking about before the trolls? Oh yeah, I think we were talking about cannabis policy. In the Netherlands, it's crazy how it works. Like there's coffee shops everywhere. That's the place where you can legally buy cannabis, but you can't grow it. Well, you can grow it on a personal level, as in if you have a house, then you can have 3 plants. It is now. But if somebody's going to report like a complaint about the smell or anything, then yeah, the police will take them away basically. And if you have like a grow area, that's just by default illegal. It's insane. And
What
so
if-
counterproductive, because this way the criminal industry will drive, the black market will drive the developments in the cannabis, and it will become more commercialized in a bad way. It will become more addictive, all of that, because there is no regulation because of this policy. So we're talking about, yeah, Troy and me were talking about that before the show started. It's a good point to bring up because there's a lot you can do once you actually officially legalize cannabis nationwide. Then you can have certain regulations, and that has some downsides to it, but it also has a lot of upsides because, for example, like with the taxes on alcohol, if a product like say beer has a low alcohol, which has a low alcohol on average, it will have less taxes because of the low alcohol, but it will have some. And then wines and that level has a little bit more taxes. And then the real strong drinks have a lot of taxes. And this is logical, not because we want to pay taxes, but because people that really get addicted to alcohol will typically climb up the ladder to the stronger drinks. And so if people are going to buy strong drinks, that usually will correlate with more costs medically. Thus, they're paying with their taxes for their own medical future, basically. And that's a good principle. It all depends on what's going to happen with all that money, though. But yeah, if that would actually fall in place, that could work. And you could do the same with cannabis and say, okay, if it has very strong THC, then from a certain level on, it's going to have some taxes to it. When it's very strong, it's going to have even more taxes because that will typically be used by people that get really addicted and like chain smokers. They will seek out the stronger cannabis. So, and that will also bring some problems with it. At the same time, you could have a reduction tax counterweight based on the CBD level, because even smoking CBD will have to be a bit more than usual because smoking it will deteriorate the quality of it, basically what you're inhaling. But CBD will counterweigh any negative side effects, or a lot of them. It will make your body more healthy, and thus any mental problems you might contract from constantly being exposed to high levels of THC will be taken by the body because you have plenty of CBD that will actually help you restore and cope with it. So if you have a tax system based on the CBD and this THC, then you can really get a good culture going for what types of cannabis are going to be produced, in what way, in what setting, corporate or just freelance. See, legalization, you can do so much with it, and you can have some taxes, not to just more taxes, we need more taxes, but to actually build a foundation for what it's going to cause in the world. So that was my little political speech. What do you guys think?
Any evidence that the tax applies to me?
No, only if you're going to sell it to others.
And then what would be the evidence
Don't
that
pay
it
it
applies to
after
me
you
if I?
engage.
Well, I understand, but is that evidence or is that just a threat?
That's a threat, but it's played out in the real world. That's evidential. What actually happens is evidential, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So that's
Well,
a
it's just like with
justification.
any other product. Look, if you're going to sell cigarettes or I don't know, food, potatoes, and you're going to constantly sell that and evade the tax, then yeah, eventually you will be taken notice of, and you will be like, hey, why aren't you paying like everybody else? And yeah,
right.
if you're
That's,
principled, yeah, woo, you can do
no,
your
that's
thing. You can do your
yeah.
thing, and you can even win. But I'm just trying to be pragmatic here and actually create a solution that can arrive now and not after everything is all perfect. No, now.
Okay. I was just asking. And the other gentleman said basically that the evidence is violence. That's fine. I know there's violence. I know there's cages. I know there's guns, but that's not evidence that the law or the codes or tax are morally responsible. That's all
No,
we
no,
have
I'm
is
not.
threats.
I'm not trying to say that it is, but it's what actually happens in the real world. If you
Well,
try not to pay your taxes or anything, that's what happens to you, and that's happened to millions and millions of people.
What you
That's a
want, but seriously,
pretty
just
dedicated trail of evidence.
think about it.
it
What we
certainly hasn't
want
happened
is
to me.
good. What we want is good cannabis that is healthy. How can you steer that with taxes? And what happens with the taxes is an entirely different matter. But it is one of the only ways that can actually work. Otherwise, people are just going to do what their impulses are going to tell them, which will be greed.
Right.
And it's just going to be strong, make addicts out of everyone. That's
Well,
not what you want.
what we have here in California is something called a gas tax. Now, the gas tax was supposed to be for the roads. However, many decades ago, the gas tax was taken away and was put into the general fund. And now, just recently, they wanted to have another tax to take care of the roads. And same idea with the lottery. The lottery was put in to take care of
Yep,
the schools,
that's
and
bad.
then it goes to the general fund. So I don't see any evidence,
But
and
that's bad.
we
That's
have
not good.
spoken to tax authorities on the phone, and when we ask them for evidence that it actually applies to us, we've been hung up on. So there are folks that are figuring out that the taxes don't apply to us, but if you want to go ahead and pay them, that's fine. Personally, I don't.
Yeah, but that's a bad policy structuring. You
Hold on,
shouldn't.
hold on.
You shouldn't collect taxes for one thing and
Before
then
you
apply to
attack it,
something
Arwin,
that
I
has
just want to
nothing
hear.
do with it.
I just want to hear him elaborate a bit. Why doesn't it apply to us?
Where's well, at least over here in the States, where's the evidence that it does? Where's the evidence that the code applies to us? And then what they'll say is, oh, well, here at 115.7, we see that it applies to you. I'm sorry, that's circular logic. You're taking a book to claim that the book applies to you. It's not evidence.
Yeah, but look, you're going to another level, and in that level, if you're gonna assume that position, fine. Everything is legal. Go do whatever the fuck you want, dude.
Well, legal
That's
and
very
lawful.
simple. That's
Legal
very
and lawful are
simple.
a
Do
different deal.
whatever you want.
Okay, don't get angry. I'm just saying legal and lawful are a different game. Legal has to do with the bar association. Lawful has to do with moral and what's right.
I didn't use the word lawful. I used legal.
I know. Legal is the scam word.
Right. To which most of us are all subjected unless you want to make a great deal of effort your entire life and specialize to counter it. Because that's what you're gonna have to do if you want to bypass it. And that option is there. So good luck to you. I'm not one of those people. um Eric Boshen, I think he wants to join.
The thing about legal and lawful, and whether things apply to you, what do you think about the Constitution? As a citizen of your country, do you think the Constitution applies to you?
I have no evidence that it does. Do you have evidence that the Constitution that was written 200 years ago by a bunch of Freemasons applies to me?
I'm not talking about evidence. I'm asking whether or not you consider that it applies to you. I would guess that you don't.
I don't. I look for evidence. I haven't seen evidence that it does. A contract signed 200 years ago by a bunch of Masons. I don't see how that applies to me.
Evidence. I'm asking whether or not you consider it to apply to you. Do you abide by the Constitution?
Hey,
Do
Eric.
you think that it's a good and proper law of the land, or do you take the total anarchist view and say that no law is a good law?
I take basically, I think Eric and I share pretty much the same ideas. I haven't seen any evidence that the Constitution applies to me. If someone actually will show me that it does, I'll be happy to agree. But right now, I don't see it. That's what I look for is evidence. I don't have beliefs. I don't have claims. I just look for evidence. I haven't seen it yet.
I was just asking for your opinion, not for evidence.
And I just told you, I try not to have beliefs or opinions. I'm just looking for evidence. I haven't seen it so far that a 200-year-old contract created by Freemasons applies to me 200 years later. Don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with Jim on that. It's if you guys want, this is a whole nother thing. It's kind of like flat Earth when you're getting away from the globe. Look at Mark Passio, his channel. He does a lot of good stuff on natural law and anarchy. Mark Stevens does a really, really, really good job.
He's awesome. Mark Stevens.
Has to say about this kind of stuff too.
I mean, listen, guys. Even if we want to sit in traditional law, we do have things like contracts. Look, when you get internet service, you have a contract. Okay, if you want to, can't we get to something like this? And it might sound like a Trump extremist, anarcho-capitalist, but maybe we can switch to contracts. At least you have an agreement there. A bunch of men sitting in the EU or Washington D.C. making arbitrary rules. It has to stop at some point. That's, I think, what we all would say. As far as tax, I mean, we're not going to just get rid of the system. Like, I'm very much against the idea of income tax. I think that's retarded. Property tax. I mean, they have the U.S. before the income tax. They funded the government with just a VAT. What do you call it in Europe? A VAT. Basically anything imported, and they were fine with that. I don't think we can just get rid of all tax. I mean, for example, it just snowed here last night, and the plows came out. I gotta take care of that stuff.
I don't remember all the details, but I've heard a decent explanation of how they could pretty much do away with tax altogether by going back to what they used to call a gold standard. That they could print their own money, put it out, government spend it out into circulation, and then have the people spend that, and it comes back through government business.
Well, that's why a lot of the anarchist has become such a dirty word over decades that a lot of people have used the word voluntarinist. And it's interesting that where I am, it's more rural. It's not like New York City, who has a municipal fire department. But where I am, it's all volunteer. So we can do it. We can provide services with, I mean, look how many, whether you like the churches or not, they rely a lot on donations. And so we can do these things. I just think forcing people for services is immoral. I mean,
especially when not everyone uses all government services, but you still have to pay your share of taxes to fund them.
Yeah. And now that, the thing that Anthony Riley, you guys call him Riley, he's doing, like, what if we learn that, this school thing is, there's no oath to, nothing to tell the truth. Like, I don't want to pay school taxes for what? To contribute to children being, I consider it mental abuse.
Right, and they have to get vaccinated before they even show up. So
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't think we can that we can just get rid of all forms of taxation. I mean, but I think we could start at some of these major ones. I mean, did anybody see the marketing campaign from Domino's Pizza, where a private pizza corporation is fixing roads in America because the government sucks at it? So, who's going to fix the roads if we don't have government? Well, number one, it's people, and hey, maybe Domino's Pizza. That's a sad reality of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you guys, if you guys in Europe, you would look at the Domino's ad, like Domino's Pizza, the crappiest pizza around is fixing roads in America.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, look, the worst crap food is the most widely advertised. So I've known that for like 20 years.
Pretty smart, At least they have the Domino's Pizza painted, and it makes people, hey, that pizza place, they're fixing my road. It's quite brilliant, actually, but hey, free market, I guess, can do stuff that government sucks at, which is pretty much everything. I know I sound like a terrible capitalist suggesting these things, I guess.
I look forward to capitalism if it ever is tried.
Free market too, maybe?
Yeah, free market. No barriers to entry. What a concept. But we have all these gentlemen that hide behind the corporate veil. We have no idea who they are. They're protected from any kind of prosecution, and they live off
Corporation.
everybody's others. Like
I
the
don't know.
United States is a corporation.
Well, the corporation as we see today, that's an extension of government. Anybody who goes to this leftist, oh, screw the evil rich men, the 1%ers and all that nonsense. Those corporations, Apple, Google, all these things, Pfizer, Bayer, these are extensions of government. If you're a family or private business, you can't succeed. You need to become an IPO, traded on Wall Street, get all these, buddy up with government. That's the only way you're gonna get a service or product to market. Good luck being a family business or a small private business in today's world.
All right. But yeah, my typical regulation system, and you don't like it, especially Americans hate that. But yeah, if it's well applied, it can be very functional, and it can direct the quality of products in a good direction.
What were you? Can you kind of recap what you were talking about? I missed the.
Right. Well, a sales tax on cannabis from a certain level on, so that any guy can basically grow his stuff and just sell them to his friends or whatever. But if you're gonna take it to the next level and like sell a huge quantity, like get professional, then there should be a tax based on the type of cannabis that you have. So higher THC should have a exponentially growing tax scale. It's very similar to the alcohol concept, but as a counterweight, CBD levels, and yeah, that depends on the type of cannabis. Yeah, if the CBD level is higher, then that will reduce the amount of tax being levied on the THC. So that way you can steer the market to create a general type of cannabis that might be pretty good, but it will at least have CBD, and that will have a lot of medical benefits for people. That.
Yeah, I know. So I guess Jim, he jumped. He jumped on the whole idea of tax. Maybe he's a bit more.
I agree. But look, it's all about what you're going to be doing with those taxes. But listen, please, nobody interrupt me, please. What the problem is in America with the policy making and taxes is that they just treat it in an insane manner. Just say, oh, look, we need the money for a project. Okay, we're going to take it from this. That's terrible to do because it completely destabilizes the open market, whatever that's going to deal with. It's going to disrupt it. But if you are going to not do that, not try to rip some money from something, not try to rip money from cannabis and just let it be, but use taxation to regulate it and then apply those taxes specifically for medical benefits for cannabis users, for example, like to fund typical issues that cannabis addicts or older people that have smoked a lot might have. It's gonna happen. There's very rare people that just smoke pure cannabis that are super healthy in an age. Most people are idiots with it and use a lot of bad food. And anyway, you can just take a bit of those incomes from cannabis and then use it for medical issues, so that later on it's not going to be a huge burden on these people that are probably not going to be rich if they're going to be smoking a lot. And yeah, it's not going to cost the taxpayer any extra money because there is some money for this. See?
So just
That's
a quick.
fair. Then the taxes are directly funded into that market, and that's a fair policy.
Does this include like recreational cannabis usage?
No, and as I said before, it's only when you sell cannabis on a larger scale. up from a certain amount on. So anyone can basically grow their own stuff, sell it to a bunch of friends, even be a small-time local dealer if they like to be. But once you get once you're really gonna industrialize it, and you're gonna make huge amounts of money, then there's gonna have to be some kind of tax regulation, or the corporations will purely determine the market on getting more, make super strong THC, throw away the CBD to turn everyone into junkies, and then more. That's what's going to happen if you don't regulate. And it's already happening. It's already happening right now. So yeah, that's purely for regulatory measures. That's why. It's another approach. So yeah, think about it. It's another approach. That's all. I don't like taxes either, but mostly because people in politics just abuse it, and they just think up some project and then rip money from an industry or from the general public to fund that, and that is bad. That is always bad. If there's going to be a tax in a certain region, then that tax should go directly back to that region, and then you can regulate it in a good way. It's not going to be a detriment to that sector.
So let me ask a question based on ignorance. It seems to me indiscriminate.
Rasta is not liking my approach. Sorry, Rasta.
Yeah, you're roboting out.
Travis, you broke down there.
Looks like he totally got lost now.
Yeah, but he is a grower, and he just wants free reign, and I get that,
Well, I mean, all I see is the only way that these people collect taxes is they got guns, violence, and cages. Otherwise, they wouldn't collect a dime. They know it. I know it.
Yeah, so Jim, I mean, what do you think of just sales tax? I mean, I just put, at least it's, especially on, like, say, luxury items, like buying a Ferrari. I think, I think property income taxes should be wiped out and just, but I think a VAT or, luxury items like, a Rolex or a certain range of automobiles, I guess we could use that.
Taxes, tariffs.
Okay, hold on, guys. I need to address this now before this gets out of hand. Rasta, seriously, dude. I know cannabis, THC, CBD can't kill anyone. It's never happened before, ever. You can't overdose, and that's official. I know that. I'm not denying that. But that doesn't mean that THC can't screw up people if it's very strong, and if their system is not balanced. Because it is a strong psychotropic, and any psychotropic can do damage if the conditions are not right. It's a fact.
Sorry, I must have hit a bad spot. Did you guys hear what I started to say earlier?
No, we did not.
All right, so I was just going to try to interact a little bit from the position of ignorance. It seems to me an indiscriminate practice that you would wait until a product has a high volume of monetary gain before you start taxing it. So it's almost like some mafioso in New York sees that a local business is actually doing really, really well, and he goes in and goes, "Hey, I like a piece of your pie." You know what I'm saying? But if it's a lower level, he's not going to touch it because there's not much income to tax. It seems indiscriminate that it should, if you're going to tax, it's got to be straight across the board, no matter what the level of volume and no matter what the level of quality, because then so let's say, for instance, you reach this certain indiscriminate plateau of volume sales and quality, and then you start taxing. Like, what's the thought behind that? Why start taxing at that point?
Good question.
Because it's worth it. Once it gets to a certain volume, it's worth taking a slice.
Right,
It's
that's
worth
the whole
putting
thing.
in
Right,
the effort.
it's mafia. It's the mafia
Exactly
mentality.
right.
Yep.
Right, and government is mafia.
Once something gets big enough, the dudes with the guns say, right, that's big enough for us to take a slice. It's worth the effort.
It's worth the manpower and the time. If you're selling apples on go to the New York context. If you're selling apples on a cart, you're barely making them. It's not worth even the time and energy to send a couple goons over there.
I don't believe in a tax. I believe in voluntary donations. You want something, you want to use something, you should donate to it, but being forced to, I'm not into that.
Yeah, ultimately, I agree with that. I just don't think we can go from what we have now to completely voluntary.
No, it's a long ways. It's a long road. I'm just putting it out in the in the long run that I think that would be an awesome system, right?
Yeah, and we have proof. A lot of people will suggest that. Well, people are greedy, and that's BS. Because, like I said, we have how do the churches survive? How do the local fire departments survive? That's all voluntary based. They have fundraisers and whatever. People give their money to it. So it's nonsense that we can't have a voluntary, system, because we already have some of it.
Well, I triggered somebody good here. So.
Yeah, the marijuana. I'm not a big fan of marijuana smokers either. I know I'm terrible.
Well, I'm a big fan too, but I pay attention.
I'm a big fan of people doing whatever the hell they like as long as they don't hurt anyone.
I'm a former stoner. I don't do it personally anymore, but I have no issues with anybody doing any kind of drugs. It's your own business, as long as you don't injure another party. If you injure somebody else, then the government shouldn't be collecting from you. The person that you injured should be collecting from you. The government is not an injured party. The government's a fiction. End of rant.
Agree. It is pretty insane that a non-corporeal entity can charge you. It's like the county of whatever charge you.
Right. If you ever go to court for a speeding ticket, ask them, can I meet the state of California? Because that's the person that's claiming that it's an injured party. I'd like to meet Mr. State of California.
Yeah, well, this is the prosecutor here. He's going to talk to you about the state of California, so you can talk to the prosecutor.
This is Mr. State of California? Does he have firsthand evidence that the laws and Constitution apply to me, Your Honor?
I'm here to represent the state of California, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Does the prosecutor have evidence that the Constitution applies to me, as I've asked in my Brady request?
Are you a citizen of the United States, sir?
As the objection, Your Honor, are you acting as a prosecutor? I'm asking you, Your Honor, has the prosecutor submitted evidence that the Constitution applies to me as I've requested in my Brady request?
And the prosecutor has addressed the question to you, sir. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Objection, Your Honor. It appears you're acting as a prosecutor. Once again, yes or no, has the prosecutor provided evidence that the Constitution and laws apply to me?
All right. It seems that the defendant doesn't understand the dynamics of what's happening right now.
Objection. I'm being referred to as a defendant, Your Honor. On and for the record.
Hey, by the way, okay, guys, this is called role playing, and it's called using the Socratic method. Okay, it's not like what the judge would do or the prosecutor would do is now they would say, "Oh, I'm not here to argue with you." What Jim was doing, he wasn't arguing; he was asking questions. That's the trap.
I was actually getting clarification. I wasn't asking a question.
And the prosecutor will now speak. I'm now the prosecutor. Are you a citizen of the United States, sir?
Objection.
I'm
it's
still
the same
waiting
person.
for the objection, and I'm still waiting for the prosecutor to submit evidence that the laws and Constitution apply to me as I submitted in my Brady request.
As the prosecutor, I'm asking the alleged defendant.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm waiting for a yes or no answer. Has the prosecutor provided evidence that the laws and codes apply to me? You see, that's how it works. I won my case.
The prosecutor is trying to establish, sir, whether or not the codes and laws apply to you by establishing whether or not you're a citizen. If you're a citizen, then the laws apply to you. So, sir, are you a citizen of the United States of America?
Has the prosecutor submitted evidence that I am a citizen of the United States? See, we're working on evidence.
The prosecutor is trying to establish if you're a citizen. Are you a citizen, sir? I'm asking you a question.
And Your Honor, as I said, I am asking the question. I'm still on the table. Objection, and I'm waiting for my answer. As the prosecutor answered my Brady request, which is here, would you like to have a copy of this Brady request? I'm looking for an answer to that.
You'll notice that in the Brady request, it stipulates that if the defendant alleged is a
Objection,
citizen,
it does not. Objection, it says nothing of the sort, Your Honor.
I'm holding the Brady request in my hands. I see what I have.
Objection, Your Honor, he's lying. Anyway, I'll get done with that. But if you want to go on Mark Stevens, and then we have a Skype group, we do this all day long, and we do win cases. I won my case.
Are you, Jim? Do you do the court prep Skype thing?
I have in the past, yes. I know all the group there.
No, I mean,
know
clearly,
Ron. I know Robbie and Kevin and the group.
Yeah.
I know Mark Stevens personally.
Cool. Yeah, it's interesting. The problem I find with Mark Stevens is I think a lot of people in it, like, I think they have kind of gotten into this mode of looking forward to being in court. Like, man, a lot of these guys go to court a lot. I'm like, I try to avoid that crowd.
No, we don't want to be in court, but what we don't want to do in there is go from the arraignment into trial. We do not want to actually get into the trial. Once you're in a trial, it's over. You want to deal with it in the arraignment, and you want to deal with it with paperwork. That's why that Brady request, you get it in there. It's asking, does the laws and codes apply to me? Where's the evidence? You're all dealing with evidence. There is no evidence. That's why we ask the questions.
And for people that are unfamiliar with this, maybe another word, it's jurisdiction. Meaning, do you have authority in this realm over me? Do the code, statutes, laws, constitutions, does it apply? Do you have jurisdiction?
Right. Is this admiralty court apply to me? Which is what it is. It's an admiralty court. I agree, Ryan. Don't try this out in real life unless you've had a lot of experience with this stuff. Don't ever try it. I tried it. And first got my ass handed to me, but now I'm getting pretty good.
It's good for parking tickets or failure to stop and those things.
You can still end up in jail over a contempt. You have to be very careful that you're not asking questions, that you're only getting clarifications, and you're putting the burden on the prosecutor, not on the judge.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, that's
I'll mute after that. I apologize.
The other good thing is they come in with the plea. That's the other aspect. You walk into a court and you're ready to plead guilty, just haven't signed it yet. So it shows your intent is ready to settle it. And then you can.
That's exactly right. You're just looking. You take in that unsigned guilty plea. Your Honor, I'm ready to plead guilty. If I can just get a few clarifications. Number one, am I considered innocent of all elements of the charge? The judge just said, well, yes, I am. Is jurisdiction one of the elements? They're going to start freaking out now.
Yep, right there. They know where you're going with that. Where's your authority? Where's your jurisdiction? Because, come on, guys. Whatever we think about government, we all have to agree that it's just a monopoly on violence or the threat of. That's all it is.
It's a Freemason mafia is all it is.
Would you agree, Arwen?
I don't know. It's a little bit too anarchistic for me, but there is a lot of cartelling problems in branches of government everywhere. It's a structural problem. It's how it came to be. Yep. But to say, I think you guys tend to overgeneralize everything a lot.
I think it's just simplifying it.
I try to take a more moderate approach, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is interesting.
I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of people being tortured and whatnot with the so-called government, with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And so I'm not a fan of government mafia at all, or the Freemasons. So that's what I talk about on my channel a lot. We don't have to do it here, but I talk about that a lot.
Yay! Hooray! This is not subject for the early bird show. Thank you. We don't want to wake up to this shit.
No problem. My show, we don't have any kind of agenda. You can speak about anything.
What else?
Agenda is not to give people nightmares right after they wake up. That's my agenda. So.
That's what life is. Nightmare after you wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But what I want to do is basically give a little breathing room and just.
Morning, guys.
So what's your favorite color, Arwen? What's your favorite color?
Oh, look, it's L&D and Dad calling us all
It
Nazis.
depends on the context, really. If I would just have to overgeneralize, I'd say purple. But deep.
Is that a more of a magenta or fuchsia?
No, deep
or
purple. Deep dark purple.
What's up, fellas? What's up?
What's going on, chocolate?
Chill.
Hey.
What's going on, guys?
I'm just about to drop so I can go and set up for the debate, but hey, chocolate.
What's up, Nath? Probably see you there in a few minutes.
Cool.
Hey, we got on a good subject last night about the, Nami brought it up, the maneuver, the maw. What's that thing that the James Bond jetpack that they buried in the space religion?
Yeah, that's the NM, whatever it was, where it uses hairspray to go all over the space. It was a pack that they used once that they couldn't explain. So yeah, Nummy Num brought it up really good.
Mm-hmm. He's
a jetpack that can't be explained.
And then another technology they sort of buried, like the shuttle, and ridiculous. But he's promising to make a video on it because the way they were explaining it does not line up to what they're claiming in orbital mechanics and propulsion.
I was just watching that episode earlier this morning, and you guys were destroying all that NASA footage that you guys were showing. Oh my God, it was so horrible.
The 80s stuff is brilliant, man.
That was a lot of fun.
It's so bad.
We were pulling out 1980s footage, and people were just reaming it. It was funny.
What channel was that?
That was on my channel, the second newest one.
Was that on yours or what's her name? Who is who?
It was on my channel.
Oh, okay.
Vegan, you have a certain time that you're going to start your hangouts, or
No, I just try to avoid people like Jamie and Rebecca and people that are on there because they've all been good to me. I just try to find an empty time, then I come on.
Yo. Nathan, it's not working, man.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute.
There you go.
I just dropped from Arwen's, so I'm just setting up.
Listen, you know when your mum's house or your nan's house got sold?
Yeah.
Did you still have to pay council tax?
Until it transfers hands, you do. Yeah, as far as I'm aware.
Did you pay it, or did somebody else pay it?
Calm down. What? Sorry.
Did you pay it yourself, or did somebody pay it?
No, whoever owns the building. I mean, when it's in probate, I would assume it's just a combination of whoever's going to get the money from the sale.
Yeah. So, as far as you know, your family, you or other person, did pay it.
Yes.
Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Oh. Can you knock it off for a minute while I ask you a couple of questions?
I can. I'll call you back on the phone.
Okay. On the actual phone, the mobile.
I'll call you on my mobile, so it's not on the PC.
Okay.
Check, check, check. You gonna come and join Daddy and do his intro with him? I don't really want the witch's hat though. Thank you very much. Right, let's do a bit of sharing. You know all about sharing, don't you, sausage? Right, who's that? Is that you, Anthony?
No, it's Jim.
Hey,
They're coming
hey,
people. Everybody's coming over here. School class is out over in the other class. They're heading over here.
How do?
I'm surprised Darwin gave you that much airtime. He normally gets really triggered about that subject. I don't understand what the issue is. I mean, you even gave the disclaimers. You were like, look, if you don't understand this in a expansive way, don't dabble in it.
Yeah, I know I got Pete that one time, but
I mean, the disclaimer I would probably give is that this is all based around contracts, and if you are in a contract, then you damn well better honour that contract. Most people engage in contracts, regardless of if it's government or some private industry, without actually being aware that they've engaged in a contract. And once they are, tough, you're in a contract. Now, if you were too stupid to realise you've put yourself into a contract, that's kind of your problem. And understanding in the way that you do is what makes you normally avoid getting into contracts.
right. And if you are in a contract and you don't have full disclosure from that contract, it's void from the get-go, and you just need to try to get evidence that there is a contract so you can show that it's void. But it's tough. It is a tough game. It takes a while to learn.
And you said it as well. You gave the disclaimer. Look, what they've got in terms of, let's call it strong arming you, because that's what it is the jails and the guns, but those things are real.
Yep. I have a friend up in Canada I'm doing a private interview with, and she says when she gets killed and she's expecting it, she's going to have me release it. It's terrible what's going on up in Canada, which used to be known as such a nice place, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, such a nice bunch of people. I don't think so.
Right, we're starting in 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm signed in with the wrong account. I'll switch over here.
The problem with joining Arwin's show is I end up rushing everything just before the beginning, so I'm sure I'll probably end up getting something wrong. Probably won't do it again.
There we go.
Is that you, Travis?
Yeah, I'm here.
Just going to turn you up before we start.
All right, la 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 la.
That didn't make any difference.
Yeah, I hadn't turned him up yet.
No. La la la.
Very
Go on,
helpful.
Travis.
Very helpful. Hey, Chocolate.
In the
someone else who
day
needs turning
we
up.
dreamed about how
Good morning, good morning.
as a part of the American dream.
Yes, thank you. That's really helpful, Travis.
Chocolate, what are you doing here? I thought you were in work. Yeah, all right, Travis. We've got you.
Yeah,
I am at
okay, resident diva.
Trying to be a good flat earther and contribute while I'm at work.
Come here, you. You're going to do my intro with me.
all of those down, okay? All of those.
Look at the camera.
Tied on.
See the camera? Right, you stay there.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below this video. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Anti-Flat Earth, Flat Earth Vegan Goy Chocolate Saying, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. What?
Hello. Good to have you all. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
We're gonna forego the shouting out people who we were going to attribute to these particular housekeeping questions.
Let's not do that.
You don't like that?
No.
You don't want to give them credit and kudos for their failure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Any signs of axial rotation?
No.
No. Not of the Earth-based variety.
Fair enough. About the distance to the sun?
There is no distance to the sun.
Any evidence that we can have a gas pressure without a container for all the people who believe in the vacuum of space next to the gas pressure we all know and love and breathe?
Never in no functional theory or model can it work.
No.
I want someone to get in a hot air balloon basket and float up without the actual balloon itself holding the hot air.
Oh, right, yeah. Ropes up to gas pressure being maintained without a container, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd love to see that too. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. Just an aberration.
Nope.
No.
What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
I love it when you say that.
Can you say that 3 times really
It
fast?
sounds so scientific. So 50s sci-fi.
Say it again.
But seriously, is there any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
I just got
Sorry?
Absolutely
Didn't
not.
catch that. What?
Is that a no?
I can't even remember the first sentence.
What did you say?
Is there any
Sorry.
evidence of a molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
That gave me chills.
Just cartoons still? No actual evidence?
Nope.
No.
Ever.
No super laser
No.
beams or satellites scanning Earth? No? What about Earth radius then, at the R value? Any evidence of that?
Only on paper.
No.
Nope.
R-based thinking method. R.
Oh, well, that concludes housekeeping. We live in hope.
that
Radius
was my
Dominus,
cousin.
Gravitas
So no
Totus
ep-
Sanctus.
No evidence of Aristophanes? Because I think that could be a good one. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. How
Any historical evidence of Aristophanes?
Well, that's a different thing, isn't it? That's the history hoax. And I don't know, I think you'd be hard pushed to find
At the
anybody that
core
would
of
argue.
R.
in-
Come on.
Say again?
It's at the core of R.
Well, no, I mean, R is just a mathematical value they use to beg the question. Its origins and the stories that precede it, do we really care? I've been thinking about this a lot over the last few days because this branches into a territory that I do love and I think is fascinating. Big shout out to JLB, big shout out to Martin, big shout out to all the people that are covering the history hoax. But does it necessarily have any impact on the lie itself? If we're just disproving the way they've actually lied to us, the method, the mechanics of the lie itself, that's where I see us coming into it, as opposed to talking about Aristophanes or Cavendish himself as a character.
Well, isn't that part of the argument? The argument has to be based on somebody back in history. That way it has validity.
No. I mean, we're just talking about something that's obvious and observable in my view. And when it comes to picking apart what they claim is scientific, I observe phenomena we need to science the shit out of, we can pick that apart really easily. The fact that it came from some dude that claimed to be from certain time period with certain other dudes writing about, who cares? We can just pick apart what the actual lie and how it works, how it's deceived us, what it does, how it does it, the lie itself. And that's, for me, the most critical bit, isn't it?
Good point.
Let me put it to you this way and see if it changes anything. So you would rather argue about how Santa Claus can't get down the chimney rather than show that the story from the very beginning is false?
Well, yeah, just disprove. Well, it's more about the lies that you were told about it. So yes, I suppose that could fit into that category. If you're told that Santa comes down the chimney, and you can go, Santa's a man, and we've actually got a gas fire that's sealed. You know, that debunks that part of the story pretty quickly. But that's part of the lie. Whereas, you know, the origins of St. Nicholas or Kris Kringle or whatever, you know, that might be part of the backstory of the lie, but it's far less relevant when you're just being told that a man comes down your chimney at night.
Are we done? Can I change topic slightly?
Of course you can. We're done with housekeeping. I don't know how we got onto Kris Kringle, but I love it. History hoax, that's it. Not the Santa's history, but do you want me to present your screen, Anthony?
Yeah, please.
You're up.
All right, so I had a fight with Jeremy and Mark Taylor the other night about this Education Act, because basically they don't like the fact that this education exists, and they think that I'm stupid with regards to what the education thing is all about. So I'm feeling the need to basically present the screen again. I gave it to Nathan last night with regards to what the law actually says. Oops. And they don't like it. It's clear they don't like it because we had a massive fight over how stupid I am that I think that this means what it says. So I'm just going to present to you again, just for the sake of awareness within people, within Flat Earth, what the actual issue is. And the issue is to do with the way the national curriculum's taught. And it clearly states in the law that there are two rules, one that's a general prohibition and then one that's a balancing of the prohibition. So the first one's political indoctrination, and then the second one's the balancing of. And I'll read the political indoctrination bit first. Political indoctrination. The local authority, governing body, and headmaster must forbid or stop the pursuit of partisan political activities by any of the pupils. But number two, this is where we need to look. The promotion of partisan political views in the teaching of any subject in the school. Any subject in the school, of course, would include the teaching of the Copernican model or the heliocentric model, that the idea that the Earth orbits the sun and rotates once on its axis. And it's the promotion of the partisan political teachings that's the problem. Not just presenting it, it's the promotion of it. Now, we all know they're all indoctrinated because there's a globe in every classroom and on every advert on TV, etc. So that's quite easy to be established. Now, in contrast, if the head teacher decides that something is being promoted as partisan political, he must forbid it, right? And my position is they should all do this because it is promoting partisan political views. But this is the balancing of it, and this is the bit that Mark and Jeremy don't like. And there is a reason for this. The local authority, governing body, and the headmaster must take such steps that are reasonably practicable to secure that where heliocentricity is brought to the attention of the pupils whilst they're in school, the pupils are offered a balanced presentation of opposing views. And they don't like this. They think that I'm deluded, that I'm stupid, and that blah, blah, blah. So when I ask the question, well, what will happen if the paper doesn't fail and it passes and then gets peer reviewed and creates a lot of a shit stir? Yeah, well, I'll discuss that bridge when we come to it, Riley. So that's basically the position. However, Jeremy's decided, because I had this back and forth with conspiracy cats, I challenged Mark to test what I'd said in relation to conspiracy cats. And I said on Roxanne, the Globe Deniers channel the other day, that it dawned on me that when conspiracy cats told me that there was, he had to go to the headmaster and just get permission. he told me at the time that it went more than just like professional courtesy, right? It was because it was representing the school outside of school walls, and on that basis, he needed to get permission. So it wasn't just professional courtesy. And after that was discussed, we had the hangout. Then I got access to the databases in the university, and then I found out that particular law. And then I went back to Conspiracy Cats and I asked him, was it legally obligated that the headmaster gave permission, or was there something else to it? And we had a conversation, right? It was done verbally, so I didn't have any evidence of it. But I knew back then that Conspiracy Cat's headmaster in the school that he was teaching at, was actually complying with the rule. Okay, so that's compliance in that one instance, and that was the point I was making on Roxanne's channel. However, Mark and Gem Panda don't like this, so I challenged them to go back and check with Conspiracy Cats what the position was. Now I challenged Mark. Didn't challenge Gem Panda. Gem Panda had nothing to do with it. But Gem Panda's decided to go to Conspiracy Cats and check my version of events. Fair enough. I don't mind him doing that. But bear in mind that he's quick to point the finger at people and call them liars. But my question is it fair that when he checks out the citation that he's presented with, if he then finds out that it's actually true, is it okay just to pretend that it never happened in the first place? Or should credit be given when he realizes that, actually, the Conspiracy Cats did have to go and check with the headmaster for other reasons? So I had a conversation with Conspiracy Cats by text, and I basically said that I'd had a back and forth with Gem Panda and not Gem Panda, with Mark Taylor. And I said, the issue is whether the grant of permission was purely resulting from professional courtesy, or was that permission granted for something more? And he says here, I had that similar question from Gem Panda, not from Mark Taylor. Gem Panda had nothing to do with this conversation. So I'd say he's getting his nose into something that's nothing to do with him, but nonetheless, he's checking up on it. And I'm fine with that, but I'm not fine with what happens next. So I'm asking, is it professional courtesy, or is it from something more? And he says, as a teacher, I'm under an obligation to follow the law that you describe, not indoctrinate, and provide a fair, balanced argument. However, unless there is a safeguarding concern, I don't have to go to the head every time. Head controls the situation by making it school policy that teachers always act in this manner. He doesn't deal it on a case-by-case, blah, 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 blah. Our thing was different, as the head needed to be informed due to the way that I was going to deal with it, i.e. on a public forum. And I said, so it wasn't purely professional courtesy from the head's point of view, or not? And he said, no, I had to ask him about doing the debate on a public forum. If I wasn't doing it publicly, then I wasn't obliged to tell him anything of my conversation. And of course, that's correct. If he was doing it himself on his own channel, there wouldn't be any requirements. But because he was doing it on the school channel representing the school, there clearly is. So I said, is that what you told Gem Panda? And he said, I've only told him 1 minute ago. I told him that we are bound by the law to act in the way that you describe, and we are bound by school policy, we being the teachers. However, the head does not need to know each and every single time it arises. But he admits that it is to do with the law, that the way I described it, right? He admits that we are bound, we being the school, are bound by the law to act in the way you describe. And I had a conversation, a deep back and forth about how Mark and Gem Panda want to discredit me at all costs. I told them of this law, they didn't want to believe me, and they don't want to believe that it had anything to do with you approaching me, blah, blah, blah. And basically, my point is this. If you guys are going to go around trying to discredit me at all costs, that's fine. But at least have the decency to tell people that you checked shit out that you thought that I was lying about, and it turned out not to be a lie. Because it's a balanced representation. Let's go back to this. This is called the balanced presentation of the opposing view. If you think that I'm a liar, that's fine. Present your evidence and beat your drum. However, if you think that I'm a liar but then find out that I wasn't lying, is it fair that you then just pretend as though it didn't happen? Or should you say, well, actually, I checked it up on this and it turned out that he wasn't full of shit after all? And I'm going to say that it is, because that would be fair and balanced way of presenting the opposing view. I think that Riley's lying. Turns out that he wasn't on this occasion. Rather than tell people that it turned out that what I was doing was true, you just ignore it and forget about it and pretend it goes away. No, I'm telling people that you've checked up on me and it turns out that what I told everybody was true, and you've not told everybody, but you've let them all think that I'm a liar, haven't you, boys and girls? So Mark Taylor, Gem Panda, consider yourself bum smacked. I was telling the truth. The law is a thing, and Conspiracy Cats did go to the headmaster because of other reasons beyond professional courtesy. And if you think about it from the headmaster's point of view, even though he's doing it on their YouTube channel, the school's YouTube channel, what's in it for them? Why would he just grant permission, right? It's only ever a risk. It's probably going to end up being a shit show, swearing and making the school look bad. Why would he grant permission for a teacher to represent the school outside of school, but on a YouTube channel on a topic that's contentious and basically like you guys all laugh at, which is fine. But what's in it for him to accept it unless he had to do it? Because there's no benefit whatsoever for a headmaster to allow his teacher to act outside of the school, but on a school's YouTube channel on a topic that generally is considered to be nonsense by you morons. So there's no benefit, is there? So the only logical conclusion that you can realistically come to is that the headmaster had to do something because he was complying with the rule, because there's no benefit to him, the conspiracy cats doing this. And Mark Taylor and Jem Panda don't think to tell people that it turns out that I was right. Well, it's up to you guys. I'm not going to say anything other than point the fact out that they challenged something that I'd said, found out that it was actually true, and then didn't say anything and just thought it should go away. But they will happily put out a video saying that they think that I'm lying about other things, and obviously they're not even lies in the first place. But they're very quick to put it out when they think that I'm lying.
Shout out to Cynical Skeptic for the super chat. Says there is no shape to the world. Thank you very much for the super chat.
So they're very quick to point it out when they think that I'm lying. But when they find out that I'm not, they don't like telling people that, do they? That's called wiggling like a worm. I'm done.
Cool.
That's called them being liars themselves.
It's just not offering a balanced presentation of opposing views, is it? I mean, they think that I'm a liar. That's fine. I mean, most of them side do. But when they check somewhere because they think I'm lying and it turns out that I'm not lying, it's not really fair to just hide that and pretend that never happened. I think it's fair to say, do you know what, Riley? On that one, turns out that you were right. But they won't do that, will they? Because
did you really expect anything different?
Yeah, I do. Because if it's a fair debate and if it's fair behaviour and it's not underhand, then the least they can do is say, do you know what, Riley? Maybe you were right on that.
That's never going to happen.
Well, I agree. It's never going to happen. But I'm just letting people be aware that I'd said it was challenged. They come back to check it. Turns out I was right. Turns out I wasn't lying. And then there's nothing. Just little tumbleweeds. And it's like, you haven't even got the decency to credit me for not lying, have you? For being actually factually true. The law does exist. Conspiracy cats did have to go to the teacher for other reasons beyond professional courtesy. And he granted it. So what reason would he grant this for unless he had to? Because there's no benefit to this. He could literally just say, and any normal head in that situation would literally say, why would you bother? Don't bother. Go and have your night off and open your bottle of wine.
Why would you say hello to a couple of new guests? Hey, P and hey, Eric.
Shame on all of you.
Aloha. Hello.
Good to have you both.
Thanks.
So consider everybody told or informed. Hardly a balanced presentation of opposing views, is it, when you get called out or you get checked on what you claim as fact and then it turns out to be fact and then just they go missing? I'm done, by the way.
Good stuff.
P needs shave.
Yeah, according to Juan Carlos, you need to pay someone $1,000.
According to who?
Juan Carlos in the chat. Shout out to Juan Carlos, my number one fan.
And let's see that evidence, Juan Carlos. It sounds like another spurious claim. What evidence have you got? Let's join the panel and let's discuss it.
He said, I think he lied about there being eclipse every month or something.
All right. So why don't you join the panel, Juan Carlos, and let's hear what your claim is.
Didn't we just literally do this in the last week?
Yeah. But Juan Carlos has got a claim in chat, it seems, and I'm happy for it. Let's bring it, Juan Carlos. Let's see who you are, worm. Seems to be a theme with these ballers, Nathan. They don't like it when they get called out.
He's not a baller.
Well, how do you know? He's got no subs, has he?
Because I know he's a flat earther.
I don't think so. Has he got any subs?
You're wrong.
Has he got any subs?
I don't know.
Let's check Juan Carlos's subs count. Where is Juan Carlos?
17,602.
He just said, I am a flat earther, you muppet.
So you're a flat earther? Okay, well, let's join the panel then. Let's talk about the claim that you're telling everybody. I'm up for this, Juan Carlos. You've got 83 subs. Seems like you're legit. Let's see what you believe is the claim for the £1,000. The link's in the description panel. Make sure you mute the page before you join. So, PMARS, What kind of PMAs have we got today? Have we got the normal PMAs, or have we got the squeaky voice one that doesn't want to be here, but has to be here because he has to do something that he doesn't want to do?
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, there seems to be a correlation, P. Sometimes you come in and you're the normal kind of P and you talk normally and you're not a dick. And then there's other times that you come in and you are a dick and you have this really squeaky, wimpy voice. And it's almost as if you're here under duress.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Sure.
I think we should address the elephant in the room.
What, like there's no curve, there's no axial rotation, there's no gravity, yet you all believe and push it that it's true.
You've got to stop putting yourself down, P. You've lost a lot of weight.
Come on, P. What's the elephant in the room?
I think Arwen has serious mental problems and delusions of grandeur.
That's
and that
not
we
the
should
elephant in the
try
room.
and help him out.
That's not the elephant in the room.
Come on,
the elephant in the room, P, is that nobody can prove curve, nobody can prove axial rotation, nobody can prove gravity, but you all believe it's true.
How's the poker going, P Mars?
Profitable.
I bet you haven't won nothing in this last week, have you, P?
I think I won like 500 this week. Or wait. Yeah.
Gambling is the devil.
This weekend, I won 500.
You're making money at poker.
Yeah, but to Vegas, P.
I'm really good at poker. No, actually, everyone tells me to go to Vegas, but it's a really bad place to play poker.
Come to Macau.
Why is it bad to play poker?
We'll go down to Macau.
Why is it bad?
The competition's pretty tough in Vegas. There's not a lot of fish. It's a lot of grinders.
What's a grinder?
Someone who plays cards for a living.
Yeah, I know a few of those.
Isn't that you?
Yeah, I'm a grinder.
So don't you belong in Vegas grinding?
There's way better places to play. Like that's the worst place to go play poker. There's way better places. Pretty much.
We'd like to see you on the World Series of Poker, Pete. I used to live in Vegas.
I don't really like tournaments that much.
Is that what you do then, poker? You don't put money into the one-arm bandit or anything?
Oh, one-arm bandit's just plain foolish. You want to stay away from those things.
Yeah, I play poker. That's what, like, when I'm talking to you guys, I'm playing poker at the same time.
I used to count cards in blackjack back when we had single deck. I'd always get free drinks and food and stuff when I was a cab driver in Vegas. It was a pretty good deal.
I went to Vegas once and didn't spend a penny, and I started to piss off all the people that I was with because I just don't like gambling. And one guy forced $20 on me. He was like, "Come on, gamble, gamble." I was like, "Okay, fine." As you're giving me the money to do it, I gambled, won, and kept the money, and then didn't gamble again till the end of the. Till we went at the end on the plane back. We're all totting up how much everyone's down. I'm the only one that's up.
I used to, when I lived there, we used to have this yearly event for technology. They'd all show up, and the hookers and the shows would all close down and go dark because none of these techies actually tipped or gambled. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, the Mexicans give out cards for hookers. It's really weird. You're walking along and they're flicking the cards, like click, 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 and then they hand out like business cards. You're like, what the hell's this? Force it into your hand, and you're like, card for a hooker. No, thank you. And then you look on the floor and there's like 1 million of them just scattered on the floor.
Yeah. Well, it used to be legal in Vegas. Now it's only legal 100 miles outside of Vegas. So they still, back in the day, the girls would come right up to you while you're on the street back when people used to wear tuxedos and stuff. And when Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack were there, it was a much better town than now that the government mafia is in charge.
Wasn't that kind of the point of Vegas?
That was, yeah.
So they've pushed it all out of town, the prostitution.
Yeah, it's 100 miles away. Yeah, only in the rural communities now.
No, I mean legally, but there's tons of prostitutes in Vegas.
Oh yeah, it's not legal though. You have to go out to the
Pete would know.
ranches.
Pete knows his stuff.
How much are they, Pete?
How much you want to spend, Sailor?
I think $100.
Oh, that's like crack. That's
I don't think so. I don't think so. None of my girls going to do that for $100.
Let's go back on topic. Oh. I was just going to ask, has anybody heard anything from Miles the Liar Davis? But he's just done a video in the last hour. Has anybody seen it? Know what it says?
I haven't seen it at all.
Flat Earth still disproved, he's claiming. Right. So it appears that Miles the Liar Davis has seen the video from yesterday. Do you know what? I'm going to have to drop and listen to what he says because I want to respond to this. I'll be back in 15 minutes.
Has anyone seen the Banned Iceland advert?
I don't have a TV.
Hey?
I don't have a TV.
I sent you the link in Skype. So Iceland have done a Christmas advert. You know, the chain, Iceland, with the shopping and what have you. Anyway, it's been banned. So, do you reckon it's going to get more views being watched being a banned video than it would be if it hadn't? And it's all to do with the rainforests and how, you know, the culling of it is killing all the wild animals over there, etc. And how they're sort of like getting behind the idea of trying to find other oils to put in products and stuff, as opposed to the stuff with the trees. So just thought I'd mention that because it just seems like even big tech is being silenced, or big companies are being silenced. They're not allowed to have an opinion on anything.
Or not, as you speculated. I remember back in the day with pop music, you know, if you can get your album banned for whatever reason, it's almost guaranteed to go straight to number one if Radio 1 won't play it.
Yeah. What was it banned for? Why was it banned?
They said it was it had political connotations to it or something, which I didn't see. I didn't see that it had any kind of political persuasion in any way. It was simply they were saying that they weren't going to have any of these particular oils in their products until they can find ways of harvesting the oil that doesn't include them chopping down the rainforest. So that was their statement, sort of thing. The video was quite clever. I enjoyed watching it. It was shame that they banned it, but the way it goes. But it's just like I said, like Nathan says, maybe they did it on purpose.
Strange.
Right, so Anthony's back. Was it really that short of a video?
Well, it was a 30-minute video, but it's 3 parts. One, he's basically praising himself because he's hit 1,000 subs. The second part is to do with holding Slice Parkane's woolly about something. Obviously, I've not watched that. But his first part is to do with the claims that basically he's claiming that Flat Earth has still been debunked. And he seems... I have not listened to everything he said. I've just scanned through the main parts. He seems to be doubling down on the perspective thing, reasserting his position that something that is on eye level cannot be ever above. And he's also seems to be playing the I've not seen Nathan's channel part. But he is online now. So if anybody can get a message to Miles, ask him to join the show and let's hear the conversation, because you're claiming that Flat Earth's debunked, but we demonstrated that not only is it possible on a flat Earth, that it's impossible on a sphere, despite your claim to the contrary. We demonstrated that the angular size, which is of course perspective, it was consistent with it being flat. It's not consistent at any time for it being a sphere. So I think let's remind people of the brilliant work that Adam did. Shout out to Adam Meakin from IML Media, because he demonstrated what the angular size would be if the Earth was indeed flat over a sphere. And the observation matched entirely with the flat Earth observation, Miles, for perspective. When you account for perspective, now let me remind you of what my position was. You didn't account for perspective in your claim. You accounted for it by way of visual. But we all know that objects shrink as a function of distance. And your claim is linear, that the tops of things can only line up with the tops of things if they are the same height, and they will never. Well, that's at odds with the calculator that Adam Meakin showed, because you're at an elevation, and as you get further away, because the plane's coming up to eye level, that's having an effect. What the effect is, don't know. We're quite new to this. But the point is that he demonstrated that the angular size reduction based on a function because of distance affected the targets that you were pointing out. And let's remind people, we didn't change any of the values. We used all of your values, however accurate they may or may not be. And we demonstrated that the only way that it was possible was on a plane. It is not possible on a sphere, despite you telling people that it's impossible on a plane. Well, we demonstrated that it's only possible on a plane because angular size is a thing. Now, basically, we're at the point now where you think that perspective only applies linearly, the way that you describe it. That means that you're arguing that the maths that Adam presented and how it was done yesterday must therefore be wrong. So, Miles, you're challenged to demonstrate how it is that the perspective calculator, the angular size calculator, is at odds with what you believe is your interpretation of perspective, where you look across the tops of things, because there is a conflict, and the conflict is not with us. So you've got to demonstrate why it is the case that there's a conflict, because the angle size calculator, we know things do get smaller as a function of distance, and what you're saying is at odds with it. So you've got to debunk that angular size calculator. That's the task. And if you can't debunk the angular size calculator, we've only got your interpretation of what you claim that happens over long distances with targets that are rising to eye level. Of course, we don't see orthographically, Miles, so it's not a parallel line that you're looking at that's parallel to the ground. It's a reducing angle that's getting further and further away from you. And although the ground's rising up to your eye level, it's definitely not parallel. You're looking up to the horizon, and the ground is also rising up to the horizon. And you don't appear to have accounted for that in your claim for the perspective. So either way, Miles, at this point, we're claiming that your video or your picture cannot be done on a flat, on a ball, and it can only be done on a flat plane. And your perspective interpretation must be challenged against the angular size perspective calculator, because it clearly says that one of them isn't right. So why don't you join? Someone get the message to him and let him join, and let's have the conversation, and let's see how you can show how the angular size calculations that were done for the whole show yesterday are inconsistent or wrong with what you claim is perspective. Let's hear it.
Did you also hear the conversation in between shows on the secondary show? So for the audience only, subscribe to Nathan Oakley, which is my second channel, where you get to hear the bits in between the shows being live, and a pre-show and the after show if there is one. Did you get to hear that, Anthony?
I did not.
Okay. Maybe we'll discuss that tomorrow.
Maybe we'll what?
Discuss it tomorrow. So Ranty, who's on the panel right now, and Arwen, who's also on the panel, were arguing like nobody's business when I ended the last show, because Rumpus joined just as the show was ending.
That's
he was explaining that they don't know how to do... Sorry.
Yeah, I was looking for the Rumpus. I couldn't find where the Rumpus bit was. That was the bit I wanted to see.
Right at the beginning.
Of the second show?
Yeah, right at the beginning. Second show on my backup channel, 603.
Right. Okay. Carry on.
Well, he was explaining that Ranty's an idiot because he doesn't know how to do a perspective translation. He knows how to do a perspective translation. And I asked him the question, why didn't you do this when you were assessing the Isle of Man? You did it with the raw maths only, as has Miles Davis in this instance. So, as he disclaimed again, it's not performing viewing functionality when you use the mathematics that Miles Davis has done, which is to say you go 90 degrees adjacent to the observation and maintain actual sizes for the things that you are looking at, and integrate. We'll call it like it is, hijack perspective and call it curvature. But we're saying, well, we'll take all of your numbers as is, just to I'm reiterating what Anthony's just said, but all of the numbers given to Anthony and Ranty by Miles have been used as is, which does leave one or two discrepancies. Well, that's not our problem. We didn't give out those figures. We just taken them as they've been reported and translated them into the ball, begging the question, using R, and then included perspective. In other words, if they want to claim that the geometry is correct, using the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, well then it does exclude perspective. Now they say it's not needed because it's not doing it in apparent sizes, it's doing it in actual sizes. Well, that's not how we view things. We did this 6 months ago. Don't know why these guys are so slow. We smashed them over the head with it already, but seems like they just want to ignore it and think that we've forgotten. We haven't.
Yeah. It seems that it's rinse and repeat, Nathan. It seems that Miles has got it in his head that he can republish this. Same story, different facts. And he thinks he can republish this and get away with it. And to be honest, I'd have just ignored it unless I saw that little bit in his description that said, it was funny actually, because I'll read to you what he actually put in his video, in his description, because it's quite humorous. He says, where is it? This one, challenge for flat earth. It's this big long one. Right, so he says, and I quote, so this is what you do when you quote somebody, Sean Hufford. You actually read it verbatim. He says, can any flat earther explain how the photograph was shown in this video is possible on flat earth? Sadly, I can't afford to offer a big prize like Wolfie. Wolfie's not a big prize. I don't know why you would think Wolfie's a big prize. Oh, that reminds me, there's a story on Wolfie, isn't there, Ranty?
There is.
We'll come to that in a sec. But he basically says that he can't afford to offer a big prize like Wolfie. Well, if I won Wolfie, I'd be wrapping him back up and sending him back return to sender, because he's definitely not a big prize. So, Ranty, let's talk about Wolfie for a minute.
Well, let me just start by saying a couple of things about this entire thing that's been going on, which is this flat earth hero, is it? Or flat earth hero, something like that. The guy's a complete jerk, right? Let's be honest. He appears to be a druggie. And he doesn't speak for me. And I think the way he's conducted himself has been appalling. I believe that Wolfie clearly won the bet, and he should pay up. He owes the guy $100,000. Simple as that.
If we're going to be honest, Trent, we're going to have to stop being flat earthers.
Hang on, that's a big play. That's a big play.
The flat earth is a lie, you know.
In terms of the conditions of the bet, that was the challenge that was made, Wolfie met all of them. And the guy owes him the money. He's trying to fudge the stuff now. However, that's true. No, he has. As terms of the original bet, which didn't include him getting in a plane and actually flying the route, that wasn't the terms of the bet. The terms of the original bet was met. I'm
not sure it was.
It was. Because in any event, this has had a knock-on effect. It's had a knock-on effect that now Wolfie's channel and this has all blown up. So it's essentially sent him viral. Yeah, he's viral. His subscriber count a few days ago was 8,000. His subscriber count, and he's been on that for a long time. His subscriber count today passed 33,000. Yesterday, his subscriber count was 18,000. So he's put over 15,000 subscribers in 24 hours. This is Wolfie.
Did you say he was on 8 or 18,000?
He was on 8,000. And yesterday he went up. He had climbed up to 18,000, and today he's on 33,000.
Do you know what? This is a bit like Simon Dan, right?
Those are paid for with YouTube.
The thing is, if Simon,
I was about to say,
if he's doing debunk videos of people on flat Earth that no one's heard of yet because he's new, then he's not going to get a lot of traction off that. So to believe that he's got how many subs? 18,000 subs, did you say?
Today he's got 33,000 subs.
And he was on 33, 20. So he's got 20,000.
So what exactly has happened for him to get that? So between him having 8 and having 30, what's actually happened?
Right. Well, there's been a bit of back and forth about this bet. Wolfie has, in my opinion, won the bet. In a lot of the people's eyes, has won the bet too.
Hold on. So you've already told us this. So you're saying, in order to gain, what is it? How many?
25,000 subs he's gained.
25,000 subscribers. In order to gain 25,000 subscribers, he's had a bit of a tete-a-tete with another YouTuber. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, but I absolutely think it was some kind of setup. I think this flat earth hero is, he couldn't have planned it any better. He created this shitstorm, excuse my language because I'm a bit angry about this, but he's created this drama that has allowed a well-known flat earther, and I've got nothing against Wolfie, but he's been doing his own thing for the last few years, and he only had 8,000 subs, and in the past week he's suddenly got a lot more subs, and I guarantee a lot of them are going to turn into trolls that actually attack other flat earthers. It's going to get to the point where you can't have a civilized conversation in your chat feed through the amount of trolls that are going to be brought in. Now, if he wanted to plan this out with Wolfie, he couldn't have done it any better, because literally his subscriber count is going through the roof as we speak. Right now, I'm not going to suggest that these are being bought, But what I am saying is that the viral nature of this type of topic and the way it gets spread is contributing to that. And this guy has facilitated that by being a welcher and not paying him the money, right? And the way he's, I mean, you could literally write a script for this guy because he's a meth head. He's literally a meth head.
Let's put this into context, right? Miles Davis has put a video up saying if we can demonstrate how it's possible, he'll remove his channel.
Yeah,
he's got about 200 extra subs for it, maybe 150 extra subs. How is that comparable to getting 20,000 subs or 18,000 subs for debunking some bloke that no one's really heard of, and he's only come on the scene, as far as we're aware, in the last month, maybe?
Because it's the nature of the way YouTube are doing things. If you've noticed how Conspiracy Cats has blown up, Simon Dan has blown up. Obviously,
we know Simon Dan has bought a shitload of subs.
Can we prove that? No.
There's no way to subs based on debunking people like me.
Yeah, but I just feel that they're being promoted in different genres where they get, you know, even on different sites. It could be on, what is it, like Reddit and stuff like that. If they've got a popular guy over there that does a lot of blogging, you know, they can send a lot of people over to watch the videos and stuff, and people do subscribe. Nathan mentioned that perhaps they do this back and forth where you subscribe to me, I'll subscribe to you, and they sort of like swap subscribers and things like this. But whatever they're doing, you know, it's essentially bringing a lot more people into the debate, and probably a lot of people that we don't actually really want because they're not really interested in being anything other than trolls. You should see the comments on my video from Simon Dan that I did about working out the Ailsa Craig, and the comments on there are just disgusting. I have like 6,000 comments or something, and every single one of them is basically telling me to go and kill myself or something along those lines. So this is the type of people that are being brought into the to this debate by virtue of this idiot, and that's all I'm going to say is I'm not going to go anymore. I'm not going to go down the route of any more of sort of going on this because I really want to rant about it, and I'm not going to.
It seems to me.
Don't kill yourself, Ranty.
It seems to me, Ranty, that you're accepting the story, and I'm thinking that the story's nonsense.
No, I think that you know, I mean, I know how these viral things can blow up and how they work. You know, so
Well, let me put it this way: my most popular video has got 130,000 views. Right, I haven't bought any views, and I've got 2,000 subs. Now, if you're going to tell me that Wolfie's debunked some new unknown flat earther on a claim of 10 grand. He ain't going to get 20,000, 18,000 subs out of that. I'm sorry, he's not.
But it's the way this other guy handles himself. Honestly, you should. If you've not watched his videos, this flat earth,
he's a total method.
He is a method. Yeah, he's a joke, and he's literally. People could make videos of. I guarantee there'll be a video out. Meth head flat earther Welch's on 100-gram bet or something like this, you know, and that'll get a viral video because you could literally make videos about the guy. He sits there for 10 minutes just staring at the screen with his fucking mouth open like a mong. Right, I'm ranting too much now. I'm going to go on mute.
Ranty's rants.
Don't kill yourself, Ranty. Your life has meaning and purpose and value, and people care about you.
I don't think he was seriously suggesting that he might pee.
Well, I don't know. It's just like Ranty's really impressionable, so I just want to make sure that he doesn't actually kill himself.
He's not. If Ranty was impressionable, he'd have bought a stabilizing gyroscope mount thing, telescope, tripod thing, and he hasn't done it, so he's not that impressionable. So
anyway, right, let's congratulate Wolfie on his new subscribers.
No, congratulations. If I go and buy, no.
How is his live viewing count? Has that changed?
I haven't really looked into it. I'll be honest.
I got an idea for challenge, like to kind of get over this paid buying subscribers. Nathan, do you have a website? I guess I don't know. If we have a website, maybe we could back it up with like, you know, Google Analytics or whatever analytics, like website video. This stuff going on YouTube is ridiculous where people are buying subs. It's nah. I'd like to see it backed up with visits to a real website. Does Wolfie have a website? Can he actually show traffic to his website?
Probably. I'm not going to go down the route of saying that I'm sort of on the fence now with what's actually going on. I actually feel that they're not. My personal opinion now is that maybe they're not being bought, but YouTube are promoting them here, there, and everywhere. I mean, just from the fact that my last video underneath it had like a 9/11 debunk article that was being promoted. I mean, come on. So, if they want to promote people, this is the kind of stuff that they're doing. It's just a whole new setup on YouTube to drive people to their channel because they want to drown out truthers like us. And give it another 2 or 3 weeks and we'll see somebody like Slice Barcane blow up, and then we'll see somebody else like Sean Hufford. He'll probably blow up as well. And he'll probably get 30 or 40,000 subscribers. It's just the way it's going to happen. It's what's going to happen. And Flat Earthers won't have that same promotion on YouTube on their platform because they don't want us here.
Well, that's pretty evident.
So the best way that they can silence us in a way is by sending over 1 million new people to attack the 100 or so content creators on YouTube that talk about Flat Earth, and then when you look through the comments, there'll be nothing but troll comments.
The only Flat Earth videos I see promoted when I'm on YouTube is the Bible related ones, and I don't want to get into whatever, but yeah, that's all I ever see. Like 24/7, Flat Earth and the Bible. It's like thrown in my face constantly.
Well, you need to find Jesus.
Yeah, I suppose. I know where he is.
Yeah, Red Pill says YouTube admitted they don't want Flat Earth to spread, and that they are actually censoring Flat Earth. And that is true because there's a clip of the, is it the CEO of YouTube? She was being questioned, and one of the questions was directed to her about Flat Earth in particular. And she admitted, things like that. We want to promote good content that we know is accurate, and then we want to push down the list, so to speak, anything that doesn't conform with the narrative. And she literally admits that.
Well, I'm totally dependent on people sharing the show. That's why I say it so often. It's really important that people share it because that's how this audience is built, not necessarily through YouTube promotion.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get promoted. We're never going to be on the recommended list. Let's put it that way.
I think I'm going to put a traditional website back up to actually. I'm going old school. The way the internet's going, and I challenge people like Wolfie to actually make let's compare websites. It's harder for Google to mess with that stuff. We don't have subscribers to a website. Well, we could have emailing lists. Like, who has a big email list?
You have traffic.
Exactly. So, I mean, this subscriber stuff, they're definitely gaming it. It's all nonsense. The likes.
Listen, why don't we test it? Why don't I do a debunking Miles Delia Davis video and see whether it goes viral? And if it does go viral, I'm going to push it and we'll promote it and see if it goes viral. Because there's enough information out there now based on the show yesterday and a few other bits and pieces that I could draw together. And let's see what happens with it, right? Because we can generate the view counts and we'll get everyone to watch it just to generate the interest so that it ranks. And I bet you I get 10 viewers out of it, 10 subs out of it. I will not get 20,000 subs.
I hate the title debunk. It's so 9/11, like debunking 9/11. Oh, the pancake theory. Yeah. Total true. Debunk. I don't know. I cringe every time I see debunk in any title of anything.
Yeah, it's the most overused word on YouTube, isn't it?
Exposed.
Yeah. And all I expect to see is somebody's hairy ass on the picture when it comes on, and you just see this picture and it's like it's nothing. It's the most overused set of words ever.
Yeah. Anytime I see debunk, it's just propaganda. I just, regardless of topic, I cringe. I steer clear of debunk.
On a side note, I actually prevented a porn bombing yesterday on females channel.
Did you trip over and pull the power cord out of his computer by accident?
No, let's hear it.
No,
Good news. This is a good news story. Let's hear it, Pete.
I was watching. There's a Kin L. I don't know if you guys know Kin L. She's a Scottish
vinegar
lass.
stroke.
Yeah,
I've got to correct you straight
strokes.
away. That you've got to, maybe if you tut first, canal. That makes sense.
So she's been doing hangouts lately, and she's been posting the link in the chat room, which of course I told her that she was gonna get porn bombed doing that, but she said she didn't care because she could just make a new channel. So I was watching her hangout yesterday, and a guy joined and kicked everyone off. So then I joined, and right when I joined, he was sharing screen and just loading up the porn, and I sniped him off the panel before he could play it. So, but then I still got accused. Everyone still thought I was the porn bomber. So
Well,
this,
I stood up for you, Pete, and basically
Yeah.
what happened is her
white
channel's
knight.
gone now. She got a strike and her channel's dead. So she still has another channel called Tabitha Brown, TABITHABRONE, and so she's still got that channel that she's going to try to do a comeback. But it's really pitiful. People coming on.
So she did have a channel taken down then. It did cost
Say
her a
what?
channel.
yeah, because I prevented that one, but then she opened up another hangout and put the link in the chat again, and I couldn't save that one.
Oh, that's just silly. So you bailed her out and saved her from a porn bombing, and she just did exactly the same thing. Well, I'm sorry, Canal, but you've only got yourself to blame.
She's going to learn OBS. She's going to learn OBS now and figure out how to try to avoid it. But yeah, she got screwed over, and it was really pitiful because she was just having a nice chat out there, and everyone was I don't know who was all over Pete saying it was Pete, but it clearly wasn't him, and he was being, not the Pete that was here. We were really enjoying him. So I knew it wasn't him.
I did.
How do you actually know
That
that?
doesn't prove that it wasn't Pete. To be fair, let's be honest. He could just go on another browser.
Yeah, I could just be on my cell phone that can't go on the internet because it's a piece of shit.
No, you can just open up another browser and go in like incognito.
I guess so. Yeah.
He could have, but it was very unlikely with all the timing, and it just wasn't fitting what he was all about the last couple of days over there. So
we like to hate Pete.
Yeah, people just want to hate Pete.
Yeah.
Even I don't really care for Pete too much, or P, whatever. But if he really was trying to do his good deed of the day, I'll give him props for that. A little bit.
I mean, I definitely don't porn. I was on another hangout 2 days ago. It was Zoom TV. He was a flat Earth. There was a flat Earth panel there. I didn't porn bomb them. If I wanted to porn bomb, I could have porn bombed her way before yesterday. So I don't porn bomb.
You actually know how
you saved it up a little bit, didn't you?
You actually know how to porn bomb. That's a bit weird.
Well, it's all you do is share screen and then just play porn. It's not.
Okay.
It's not like rocket science.
And what's funny is the porn that gets played is that extreme. It's like, where did you even find that porn? That's like the craziest porn I've ever seen. Not a bit of slap and tickle. Not like it used to be on RTL when we were kids.
It's someone in Gem's Discord because M. Scott Veach was joined the show, and other people from Gem's Discord were in the chat. Like M. Stone was there. Who else? Lottie was there. So it's someone associated with the people from Gem's Discord.
Actually, no, they were doing fake accounts of Nathan Oakley and Ryan. Yeah, they were using your names.
Yeah, that's always the case. Well, most people know that. Just check the sub count.
I thought it was Joseph, this guy that was coming on my channel, but he's actually calmed down as well. He was actually giving me good experience on blocking people out of the hangouts. He was just playing stupid stuff like a guy in his skivvies mowing his carpet with a lawnmower inside. It was kind of harmless but stupid.
So Miles Davis, let's get an APB out for him. Let's see if we can get him in, and let's see if we can get him to accept that we've demonstrated, because he's got to lose his channel. This guy, we were not required to prove that the Earth was flat based on his observation. We were simply required to demonstrate how it was possible. And I'm claiming that we've not only demonstrated it's possible, but we've demonstrated that it couldn't be a sphere based on what he claims. And you can just look at the bridges in the picture, and if it was a sphere, right, they wouldn't be in a line perfectly behind each other, which is clearly what the case is. If there's a ball and they're 30 miles away, then bridges are going to get smaller as they go further away, and they're going to start dropping. And they're perfectly parallel to what he's watching. So it's like, sorry, Miles, we've demonstrated that not only is it possible, but that it's the only way that it could be. You couldn't get that picture if the Earth was a sphere. Whether you accept it or not is a mark of your integrity. But we were expected to demonstrate how it's possible, and we have done. And we've basically shown how it's basically the case that you can't possibly be on a ball with what you've got. But nonetheless, the requirement was just to show how it's possible. And we've done that. So it's time to hand in your keys, Miles. Why is it that your channel's still up?
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. You've probably done it already. But if you liked the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!